Can you explain to me why we're talking about the SCG?
So I'm I take note of things that maybe other people don't. And there was a comment made during the cricket at the SCG on the weekend, Sunday, on the 4th. 4th? Yeah. That the SCG was trialling new grass for the cricket squares. Now, in the lawn world, spruiked my ears up and thought straight away I had an idea of what turf variety that was, and I reached out to my contact, and there are 2 Tahoma 31 trial pitches in the SCG.
They run drop-ins?
They're drop-ins, yeah.
How many have they got? Like 8 or something?
SCG's got...
6 or 8.
Yeah, 8 or 9 or something.
So enough.
Yeah, enough. So, and to my knowledge, they're the first Tahoma drop-ins that have been set on that sort of scale. Like, they've been used in universities, grade grounds, new grounds and stuff like that, but never in Australia at that level, which is pretty exciting considering that, you know, here in South Australia, all the Adelaide Oval pitches are Santa Ana, because that's just what it's been, and it's been a very good performer for South Australian conditions, whereas Tahoma is a different turf variety in that it's a cooch, but it's, you know, the colour, the response, the recovery time. Because, it was noticeable at the SCG that there was, I think, 3 squares with barely any grass on them at all, and that's what sparked the conversation. So,
what are the risks of them rolling out a Tahoma 31 cricket pitch?
I mean, that and again, traditionally, that'd be the same turf variety for years and years. So the SCG has a reputation of it being a bowler's pitch maybe for the first session and a half, then it really flattens out, and then day 3, 4 and 5 becomes a spinning wicket, traditionally. Now, with the introduction of drop-in wickets, some traditions have changed a little bit, but they've tried staying true to their nature a lot. So I suppose the risks are if it doesn't perform the same as what we're all used to, then there could be criticism. It could, and I'm not saying that it would decipher the result of a test match, but if you went in spin heavy, then you want to be bowling on the last day rather than batting. But if it stays a road from day 1 to day 5, well then, you know, there could be issues there. But I think we live in a day and age where enough research and product testing would have been done for them to be able to go, yeah, let's trial it.
I'm guessing it's unlikely that those pitches will play in a Ashes or a whatever in their first use. Like, they'll get rolled out for a state game or a whatever, and they'll test
Big Bash, something like
play
that.
a limited overs on it and just kind of see how it reacts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because like a bit like a golf course, the cricket pitch is the centre of the game. Without a good pitch, you end up with pitches like India with no grass on them and just big dust bowls, and you got spinners opening the bowling, which is not good viewing.
What are the potential benefits of it working? Like, what could
it working? Quicker recovery time. So
compared to, say,
I don't know what's traditionally used at the SCG either. It could be a Santa Ana. I don't know. It could be a different cooch variety, but
someone will know. You'll get a message here.
Yeah. But for example, if you're like, the AFL might go, okay, the drop-in is only allowed to be 5 wickets now. So now you have to plan a whole summer of schedule around 5 cricket pitches. If you've got a grass variety that can be played on for 4 or 5 days, but then that pitch needs to be up and running again in 2 weeks because the other four pitches are being used, then the benefits of a new turf variety that's going to be able to recover fast is that, the squares will become smaller, because as much as these ovals were cricket ovals first, they are essentially governed by the AFL.
Because the AFL, it brings more money?
I would say so. And there's a massive player safety standpoint for AFL. So AFL grounds from a certain, I suppose if you draw an imaginary line, everything below that needs to be a certain grass variety. So that's why Adelaide Oval went from pure Santa Ana to ryegrass, because of the AFL regulations. And if you've ever been to Adelaide Oval and you come through the southern stand, the big one, you walk straight in and you go left to the museum area. You can they've got a big profile up of how the soil is compiled and stuff. So they've done that for drainage and for what's that? The clegg.
Clegg hammer, yeah. So the compaction,
hammer.
what it would feel like to fall on it.
Yeah, that's right. So and that was why the World Cup couldn't be played there, the Women's World Cup soccer, because it's not like Hindmarsh. It didn't pass the compaction and the rebound test. So there's a lot that goes into sports turf management than what people understand.
Yeah, so. Because I've seen under the hood, I guess in line with the landscape side of things, disappointed that there's not more. And look, I think commentators, especially in cricket, are very aware of the work that goes into pitch prep and always call out the good work of the staff.
Absolutely.
It is such a thankless job. And if you have a test that plays for 4 days and 5 hours and it's like the last ball and it wins, no one gives a fuck. But so no one gets credit for that because that's a pitch, right? That's the pitch.
Yeah, that's Test cricket.
It's not really much else. They gave the most fair pitch for the game.
Yeah.
But if it finishes in 87 runs.
Yeah.
That could be the pitch.
It could be. Yeah. Well, yeah.
It should. Sorry. And the thing is, this is the crazy thing. As a turf professional, that you've done a good job if no one's talking about you.
Yeah, and that's something that Hoffy's has touched on as well. You know,
you don't want to be talked about.
Yeah, you don't want to be talked about. You just want to be able to prepare a pitch and then for people to play cricket. And the same goes for golf courses as well. For amateurs, they prefer typically a slower green, but the professionals, they love a quick green.
Yep.
So
because they know how to play with it.
They know how to play with it. So if the greens are slow, you get slagged. Whereas as an amateur or a hack, if the greens are quick, you get slagged.
And the funny thing is, the people that look after the greens are not responsible for the speed of play in tournaments. That's directed by the tournament director.
By the tournament.
Someone just commented about Gabba and SCG are the only grounds that don't use drop-ins these days. You said that it's a drop-in at the SCG.
I thought the SCG was a drop-in, enabled to get the... I know the Gabba doesn't.
I'll message someone. Hang
on. I could be wrong.
I'll ring Adam Lewis.
Yes.
What are you ringing me for?
I mean, like I said, I could be wrong. But I thought the SCG had transitioned to drop-ins.
You could Google it rather than me messaging someone who's probably meant to be preparing a turf wicket.
Yeah. Oh, and the MCG's pitches were taken out this week as well, ready for AFL, because the first round of AFL is in March this year.
Oh, no.
Which is really early.
There's another thing that you can add to the list of things I don't watch.
AFL.
Okay. Yeah, fuck that, man.
Yeah, so Google says, and so I apologise, I was wrong. So they must have had those.
So they put Toma on the ground.
Yeah, they must have done that early. Okay.
John Priest, they have used the different US variety to stop the effect on the pitch from the footy season. It's not working well. The smart move would have been a drop-in, but New South Wales board wouldn't change it. There you go. And
they're below that imaginary line that I was talking about. So New South Wales, Queensland, they're above the imaginary line that requires the Rye outfield. Yeah.
What's the imaginary line? Is that a
New South Wales?
Is that a geographical line?
It's an imaginary.
Or is it New South Wales is more elite than South Australia, so they can do what they want line?
Probably, but their climate's a bit different.
So it's a climatic, geographical line.
Because Optus Stadium in Perth, I'm pretty sure that's a Rye.
Well, you don't know much about stadiums, so you want to be careful. You've been saying a lot of mistruths.
Yeah, but then again, it's always okay to be wrong as long as you accept it and you move on.
And you don't say the same stupid thing the next day.
Yeah, that's right.